Thank you, Rick. And now we're going to continue with our second question and answer session. And we have a caller from Mexico, from the Instituto Politécnico Nacional Educación Continua in Mexico. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. This question is directed to Mr. Johnson. What communication medium do you believe would be the one that would be most used in the future, satellite or fiber optics, in regard to service and costs? And also, what role does Latin America play in this type of development, because Latin America does not have this telecommunications platform or the same type of economic means to compete with developed countries? Thank you.
Walter, two-part question.
Okay, I'm not sure I got the first part of the question, but
well, basically, in terms of fiber versus satellite. Is
well, basically, the major cities of Mexico and most Latin American countries are connected by fiber. But as you get outside of like the Golden Triangle in Mexico, satellite is a much more cost-effective way of getting broad bandwidth. Generally, satellite is about 5 times more costly than fiber if you're right on the network. But once there's any distance involved, it becomes very competitive.
All right. And how about the fact that these are often very poor countries? Does that determine their choice?
No, you'd be surprised. Mexico has a space program. Of course, they operate their own domestic satellite system, as does Brazil and Argentina. So there's a lot of technology developed that maybe the public is not aware of.
Yeah. Well, in Mexico, many people don't realize it's not that poor a country. Our next question also comes to us from Mexico, from Hermosillo in Sonora, the Universidad de Sonora. Come in, please. Buenos días.
Good morning to the ITC and to its network. I would like to pose my question in regard to some thoughts. Technology always gives us immense opportunities, for example, distance surgeries and many other aspects that have been mentioned in different sessions in regard to technology, but also as a Columbia member also mentioned, it has a dark side, and this dark side has to do with people who do not have access, people who do not have information and the technology, and this is reflected in what has been called the technological gap. Well then, the people who have or who do not have this technology have they cross over in a certain point, and this cross point will also reflect in the lack of use of technology and its advantages, and this poses a problem for government, for education, and for different organizations in regards to the culture in regard to technology. I see that you're talking about millions of dollars in financing for companies that are near bankruptcy, and I would also like to see millions of dollars to really back up education and people who does not have access. This has to do with the human, the social aspect, where you will apply the technology. Muy bien.
Muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. How can we implement these in our communities? Thank you very much.
How about that? The digital divide, a worldwide problem.
Absolutely.
Information haves and have-nots. What do we do about this?
It's a serious problem in that the people that are on the bad side of the digital divide, if you will, are getting pushed further and further down the economic ladder. And it is a serious problem that needs to be addressed, obviously. And the bankruptcies of the U.S. corporations, which have funded a lot of the development in other countries, is compounding that problem.
Is public access via libraries or community centers one solution to this problem, so that at least companies or business can go and collect email down there even without investment in infrastructure?
I think that's absolutely true. Technology, I think, is always going to lead a political and social reform. And I think from Walter's slides, you could see the increasing usage of the Internet and the cost the technology is going down. So access will be there.
Okay.
Let me add just one thing.
Please.
And that is the phenomena of cyber cafes. You asked an excellent question.
Yeah.
Because cyber cafes are available in most communities.
Yeah.
And for basically, no matter what country you're in, $1.50 an hour, you can go surf the internet. And you don't have to have a computer, you don't have to have a phone line, and you can save up $1.50 and spend an hour on the internet.
Okay, excellent, Walter. Now we have a question from our neighbors here in Baja California from the Instituto Tecnológico de Tijuana. Hello, Tijuana.
Good morning from Tijuana, and our question has to do, especially the technological institutes have the need to improve the practical training, and how can we make these type of companies help these type of institutions and to have a more open communication?
So collaboration between industry and education.
Well, the San Diego Telecommunications Council is addressing that. The Foundation Teledas in Ensenada is addressing that with Dr. Serrano as the head of the foundation, trying to bring high technology training and education to the Tijuana, Baja California area.
And there certainly is a nice synergy between technological institutes or universities training people for business, and business helping sometimes with short funding or with infrastructure for the universities.
Yeah, absolutely. On the healthcare side, just a few weeks ago, we had a surgeon in Tijuana transmitting a live surgery to, I believe, Texas A&M. And the training associated with that and that new procedure. So I think that the opportunities are certainly there.
Well, we have a caller from Veracruz, Mexico. Conalep, come in, please. Sistema Conalep.
The technological advantages and the integration is incredible in regards to the advantages, better equipment, music, video, television. There is nothing left to the imagination. My question is, what is next? Will this be more advanced technology, something in space? What is next? Thank you.
What is next? The internet has blown our minds, but there's obviously new technologies on the horizon. Put on your.
I think it's access. It's what we're talking about at this show. I was reading. We barely have third-generation cell phones here, and I was reading about NTT's new fourth-generation cell phone, which will allow download speeds of up to 10 or 20 megabits. Okay. Full motion video.
How about Internet 2?
Well, Internet 2 is the experimental testbed for all of the new technologies which will make Internet faster, more media-friendly. People don't realize that the Internet was designed as a military secure network, and it was more important that the message get there than when it got there. But when you get to multimedia, you're worried about when it gets there. Yes. But I think the biggest challenge for the future is going to be human assimilation of the technology. And there's some good news in the bankruptcies, and that is we're taking a breather, and we've got some time to assimilate this technology.
Okay, I believe we have another caller from Mexico. Come in, please. Yes, from Chihuahua, from the Universidad Autónoma.
Yes. Good morning. Our question is the following. Due to the importance of this communication technology, could the speakers indicate what resources, what sources for financing exist for investment in public universities with this type of technology?
Do you want to take
Well,
that?
there's a number of groups here, particularly in the United States, that are addressing investment in education, particularly in Mexico. And the good news of the economic slowdown is the fact that there's money sitting around with no place to be invested. And people are looking more and more at grants. And I'm actually working on a network to provide content distribution within Mexico. So there's a number of grant organizations. The classical ones, of course, you're aware of is the World Bank and the others similar.
Okay, we have a fax question from Mexico, from Flextronics in Aguascalientes, and their question is, how much bandwidth is required for a quality video conference? How much bandwidth do you need to do that sort of video conferencing?
Well, we find that for training type video conferencing, about 384 kilobits, which is 3 BRI ISDN lines. And what we found for our live surgery shows is 512 kilobits is about the minimum to give the motion handling we need.
Very good. I believe we have a call from the Dominican Republic now, from Pontificia Universidad Católica, Madre y Maestra in Santiago. Come in, please.
According to Mr. Walter Johnson's exposition, it is expected that voice data will acquire 50% of all the long-distance calls. What happens with the telecommunications company and with the industry and its infrastructure, and if this would then cover the organization's expenses? Thank you very much.
Well, I think this is what you're seeing happen right today, is this move towards internet telephony and away from the classical switched network is causing a lot of the financial shift in the industry today.
Now, is that protocol worked out so the package technology doesn't produce delays and lags in voice?
There's two internets. Voice over IP is usually handled on a private internet connection where all of that is managed. The public internet is not yet managed and is rather random. So you get two levels of quality, one on the public internet and one on commercial internet connections where it's managed.
Because you do see here about teenagers just buying some technology and putting it on their home computer, and they have voice over internet. So.
It's far more than teenagers these days.
Well, indeed. Well, listen, thank you for your excellent questions, but we've run out of time. We hope you've enjoyed participating once again in this exciting multilingual and multinational program. We invite you to participate in our next International Training Center program, airing November 14th, entitled The New Face of the E-Organization, Managerial Transformation and Enabling Software. For additional information on this video conference series, please consult your participants manual where you'll find dates and specific topics for each program. We would also like to invite our site coordinators and our viewers to learn more about ITC's competency-based training programs and its catalog of past programs. For more information, you may visit our website, itcgroup.org. On behalf of all of us, I thank you very much for your ongoing participation and interest in this program. Thank you, and hasta luego.